What's going on today, guys? Welcome back to DC Unplugged, and today we are going to go through the advanced settings on the Nami Burn E2 and Burn E2 Max. So let's get this down off this little cool display area with the LEDs, and let's get you around the other way and walk you through these settings. So enough chit chat, roll that intro, and let's get into some settings. Now, before I pull this scooter down and actually set you guys up on the GoPro behind us there, I will be going through with this video in pretty good detail and maybe some suggestions that I've had with my scooter and how I've set my scooter up for certain different conditions, as well as just some general knowledge about it as well, just in the settings and stuff like that. So yeah, let's get to it. So first things first, guys, what I might do is I just might run down again the password settings on these to set these scooters. So I do remember seeing a couple of comments, some people didn't quite understand that. So I'm just going to quickly run through the first part of this video on how to actually set that up, because I find that's a very big safety thing to do with these scooters, especially when there is able to disable the scooter and doing that so no one can power it up and take off with your scooter. So I'm going to walk through that real quick in the first part of this video. So in this video, I've actually set mine to the standard ones that are in there, but you'll see, I'll follow you along and you should be sweet to go. But for this basic of this video, I'm just going to set in a random password so you guys can follow along. Okay guys, so to start off, we're going to try and, we're going to do that password. So what we're first going to do is we're going to press mode button twice. We've activated our first P settings, so we want to go up to 14, and when this comes up on your, if you haven't already activated a password, this password is just 4 zeros. So we'll just enter that now by pressing mode, then ask you for the passcode, which is just 4 zeros, so we'll enter that by pressing mode. Each time you press the M button on the thing, it'll move across. So pressing again, moving across, pressing again, moving across. So now that we've got to this side of the settings, we want to obviously turn the PO1 on, which is going to be your password. So you want that to be on, so you press enter. Now it's asking if you want that on. So if you didn't want it on, you'd turn it off. And PO2 AP50, that there is asking for your PIN. So for this sake of this video, following along with this, pressing twice down the D-pad once you've pressed that mode button, moving into this to get the bottom part flashing, AP50 is asking for your password. So entering the new password, we're just going to press mode. Now it's asking us to put in the new password. So new password, for the sake of this video, let's make it 111. Press up on the D-pad. I should actually move this over. So there. So pressing up on the D-pad, we've now got 1. We're going to press mode. Now that's saved it as 1. Pressing up again, and obviously minus going back down to 0. So 1, 1, 1. Press mode to complete. There we go. So now that's done. So now when you turn the scooter off and we turn the scooter back on again, it's now going to ask us for that password. So now that we've asking for our password, we're just going to do 1, 1, 1, 1, and now that'll boot up the scooter. I really do advise you do that to your scooter. It's definitely a safety issue and will prevent people from trying to log away a 48 kilogram scooter, because if it don't turn on, well, they're pushing it, or they're trying to lift 48 kilos, which is 2 kilos off of 50 kilos. So good luck with that. So anyway, now we've got the password thing out of the way, let's jump straight into those advanced settings and see the best way I possibly can to inform you about that one. Alright guys, so jumping straight into the first part of this, we double tap the mode button. Now this brings us up to P1. So if you haven't already set which one of these specs you want to actually adjust, being the speed setting, just press mode. Now this little S is starting to flash, as we can see there on the dash, and we can pick the mode that we're going to currently adjust. So X, C, S, D, and E. Pick whichever one of these modes that you want to pick and adjust accordingly, or you can actually just pre-change it and skip over this part. So today, I'm just going to, for the purpose of this video, we're going to start with S. Double click the mode button again. Okay. So we've selected S, we tapped the mode button, and then we double tapped it. So P1.1 is our rear motor acceleration. So it doesn't matter what speed you're at. So let's say you're doing about 20 kilometers an hour and you gun it to get to 25 or whatever, depending on the situation. That's it, acceleration. This is the control the rear acceleration. So if we go into it, just press the mode button. That value is at 3, so it's about halfway at the moment. So the top value is 5 and the lowest value is 1. So if we were to make this rear motor acceleration as fast as possible, we just move that up by using the plus and minus pad up to 5, or if we wanted it to be really weak and just gradually accelerate, you can choose to put it into 1. But I like mine at 3, so we're going to leave it at 3 for this one. And just press mode to save. Moving on to P1.2. So here you can see it's at 5 for S, and that is the acceleration of both motors. So when I say acceleration, I mean from a dead stop. So from dead standing still, the acceleration of both motors taking off. So basically your start, the no start, this is the adjustment for the acceleration for that. So at the moment in S, it's at 5, and I'm pretty happy with that, so we'll probably leave it at that one. However, if you did want a linear start to then go into a really aggressive, this would be the setting to change. Okay, now P3, you can see here we've got down here at 80. So this mode here, so your P1.3 is adjusting your maximum output for the rear motor. So at the moment it's only on 80% of its entire available power. So it's only at 80%, and if you wanted that to be 100, you can. And this is the setting you would choose to pick to make it more rear-wheel drive if you were to go into that, but we'll show you that at a later date or later on in the video. So moving up to P1.5, P1.4, we've got here, so this one here is your adjustment for the front motor. So this is their maximum current. So you can see here it's at a 80 as well. So both the P1, the P1.3 and the P1.4, these are adjusting your motor's peak power. So if you wanted this S setting to be, let's say, more rear-wheel drive than it is front-wheel drive, you'd put this all the way down to 10. 10 being the lowest they can actually go. It will stop at 10 if I give you a demonstration. So you can see here it will only go down to 10%. If I push down, it won't allow me to go any lower than 10%. So the front motor will always be running, but you can put that down to 10%. So P1.4 is just your motor setting. So I'm just going to put this back up to 80. So yeah, once again guys, this just for the purpose of this video, I'm just showing you through P setting S. So all right, P1.5. So P1.5, P15, but I'm just putting 1.5, but anyway, P1.5. So P1.5 is the max speed that this scooter is permitted. So at the moment it's only locked in at 80%, so it's only gonna be its 80% fastest speed. So obviously there's another 30% on top of that, or 20% on top of that it'll go to. So that's being S mode. Yeah. So again guys, just to clarify, that one's your top speed of this mode. So it would only go to 80% of the full speed of this scooter. It's locked in at 80, which is pretty cool. All right. P1.6. Now P1.6 is your electronic braking control. So at the moment I've got mine set at 1 because that's how I like it. So if I was to change the braking, if I wanted more regenerative braking, you can completely cut it out and make it 0, so there is no regenerative braking. But 1's nice and light, and obviously the higher you go, the more regenerative braking it's going to be, at 5 being the max. So you can see here it won't go any higher. So 5 being the highest, 1 being the lowest. So that's fine with me. P1.7. All right, P1.7, guys, is your turbo mode. So if you wanted to activate turbo mode, you would probably see it up in there in the corner. If I wanted to activate turbo mode, just click that mode button. At the moment, it's deactivated. As soon as you put it into 1, you've got a very small amount of the turbo mode. So it'll only be a very small increment. But if you do, however, say put it into 5 and we select that 5, what will happen is I'll activate turbo mode to its full potential, which is giving you the full 12% top speed, letting you get very close to that 100-kilometer mark that the scooter can propel you to. So if I select 5 on that, now it's stopped flashing, and we press the power button to go back. Now we've got that little turbo icon up the top there, as you can see. So that little turbo icon there, if I was to be rolling at about 15 kilometers an hour and I was to hold the the plus button while I was cruising, it would then turn on. It would say the little turbo mark, and then it would say on underneath it. I don't have anything preset at the moment, so I can show you. But yeah, it'll say on underneath it. Now to deactivate, if someone's to jump on your scooter, you just clearly go into the setting again, go all the way up to P7, which is the highest, by the way, so you can't go any more than that. This is just your more advanced stuff, so there is only 7. And you just go all the way down and you bring that back to 0, or completely deactivate it, go out, and now the turbo is not activated in the top hand corner anymore. So there isn't a lot in the advanced settings, guys, so it doesn't seem like much, but to be able to torque split those motors and the acceleration at which they take off can really make or break a certain scooter, essentially. So if you have someone that isn't really, you can have like a really crucial, like a wet mode, for instance. So I actually have my C mode actually set up for more of a wet scenario kind of thing. So I've actually got all of my power to the rear of the scooter rather than the front. So I've only got 10% on the front, majority of it to the rear, just to have more of a control in a wet conditions or loose surface. So like a very leaf littered area with concrete, a majority will I'll put my scooter into C mode, which is majority rear wheel drive. So that will then help out with those kind of situations. These scooters can't be completely deactivated on the front hub unless you disconnect them, which then will probably throw a code. But yeah, so that's the best way that you can torque split and move those modes around. You can have 80% on the rear and 30% on the front, or you can have 100% on the rear and 20%. You get the point. So, or you could have it just front wheel drive, which I would highly recommend not doing, because this thing would just get uncontrollably and put you into something that you probably don't want to be in, like a bush or a tree. So yeah, anyway, that's the advanced settings, guys. So if you want to, obviously you can go into either one of those settings. You can't really adjust E mode too much because that's specifically for an eco mode. I think you can only move things up to like 40%. So, but I find that the E mode is actually done really well from Nami themselves. They've done an awesome job actually calibrating that area. I think the only thing I've done is just maybe bumped up the top speed of it just a fraction. I think I got up to 36%, just to bring it a little bit closer to that 25 mark. So I think it was factory, I was probably getting like 20 to 22 kilometers, and I just bumped it up a bit with my weight to get it up to that 25. So anyway, I hope that is very informative, guys. If that wasn't really informative enough, I can't really explain that anymore. It is what it is, and if you don't understand it, then that's I can't explain that anymore. So it is very, very easy to understand that you can adjust each motor's acceleration, and you can adjust the initial start acceleration and the top speed and power of each individual motor. So I hope that helps out, guys. If it doesn't help out, I do apologize, but that's literally what I can even get out of the normal manual, and explain it the best way I possibly can. So, but anyway, guys, I hope that all was informative enough to all of you, and I hope that really helps out with picking and choosing and modifying your scooter to suit your needs. But yeah, definitely wet conditions. I really urge rear-wheel drive mostly, or slippery conditions. Rear-wheel drive mostly is really top key, because you don't want that front motor to spin at all. Because yeah, if you lose your front wheel, well, it's game over, you're falling over. So anyway, guys, I hope that was very informative, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.